Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is getting amazing reviews from a lot of players who love themselves a Marvel fighting game from Arc System Works. But the big problem with the game is the PC version. It sucks. The performance is garbage. DRM, Sony's forced and unoptimized PSN integration on PC, and the easy anti-cheat completely destroy the performance of this game. Thankfully, all those intrusive DRMs are not something that PC players need to experience any longer because the game is cracked in less than 2 weeks. Yes, less than 2 weeks. What's the point of having all that intrusive DRM punishing legitimate players only to have it be cracked after less than 2 weeks? I guess screw all those players who pre-ordered the game or bought them on day one, right? It's a fighting game. It's not supposed to run this garbage. The gaming performance is destroyed by the DRM, Sony, and the anti-cheat so much that the game can run on a 1650 laptop. Yes, a GTX 1650 laptop, even if the recommended specs for the game require way more than that. The cracked version is performing so well that people are hosting Parsec multiplayer sessions. Parsec is a desktop remote service. I use it all the time to remotely control one desktop to another, but its primary strength is in the gaming performance. It is really good with gaming. The online multiplayer is so bad that players are playing the game on local multiplayer, using Parsec to connect to the host PC as a second player. That is how bad the multiplayer of the game is. People are absolutely loving this game, and it is such a shame that this game gets such a terrible performance. If you can't fix the hardware crisis, Sony, at least fix your games. I definitely do not disagree with this PlayStation ad. Experience unforgettable moments. It happens on PS5. Well, considering how in the last couple of months we're talking about the discontinuation of physical copies for PlayStation, you are correct that we are currently experiencing an unforgettable moment that happens for the PS5 and console gaming as a whole. We are experiencing the death of physical media for video games on consoles. It has died for the PC since forever. But at least the PC is an open platform that allows workarounds and true ownership of games for those who are willing to learn and fight for it. It is only true for PlayStation if you are willing to jailbreak it, which is definitely not something that Sony will make easy for everyone. Some people are doubtful about the amount of activism towards physical copies of games done by the many gamers around the internet. All those people are just pretending, posing, and being performative online. Maybe some of them are. I don't believe those GTA leakers are genuine about it, but you'll have to face the reality that there are still many people around the world that do buy physical copies of games. And those people are not being performative. They are genuinely upset about this decision. And yes, I complain about this too, even though I don't have a PS5. I used to have PS4s before I sold them. I used to have physical copies of PS4 games before I sold them. I don't participate in the modern gaming hobby, not just because it's getting more underwhelming as time goes on, but because the modern gaming hobby is too expensive for me. And I have way better things to spend my money on than video games these days. That being said, there are many that still spend their money and time on this hobby, and they are disappointed that they can no longer get physical copies of games. I can understand why people complain and talk about it, but at the same time, I can also see why Sony and many of these big corporations will not continue physical copies, because they want as much money as they can. The question is, will you give them? Media corporations are financially incentivized to prevent consumers to fully own the digital goods that they buy, because that would lose them money. This is why we all should advocate for digital rights and ownership. But not only we can advocate for it, we can also preserve it ourselves. And there are two groups of people that I think you all should be in this new digital era. First are the activists. They are the people that use social media to talk about these issues and signal boost their criticisms on digital rights, such as PlayStation discontinuing physical copies or Stop Killing Games movement as a whole. They will keep on speaking. They will keep on fighting. They are fighting for your rights as a digital consumer. These media corporations might be run by a bunch of greedy, stubborn bastards, but even if they don't listen, everyone else will, especially the future generations that will be future leaders as well. That is the value of activism. It's to bring awareness to these issues. It's to let people know why we have these issues to begin with. It's not just about making corporations listen to our demands, it's also about educating people on why those demands have to be met so that future generations move to the right direction. And then there are the archivists. They are the ones that figure out the technical know-hows to archive these media, remove the DRM restrictions, and allow people to access them openly and freely. They are the games and software crackers. They are the Blu-ray and web video rippers. They are pirates, basically. That's just the reality of media archiving. Removing corporate restrictions on digital goods is piracy. You cannot be archiving media and not be a pirate in the eyes of these corporations. Unfortunately, being a media archivist is not easy for everyone. It requires learning, it takes time to learn. Activism takes 5 minutes and a couple of taps, and I absolutely encourage people to do so if you can't archive or pirate yourself. I'm doing it right now with this video, but if you do have the time and the willingness to learn, being a media archivist will save you and your beloved media regardless of what the corporate overlords decide for your future. I recommend starting at the Piracy megathread. Give it a read, and you will find all sorts of amazing resources there. It seems that some people still misunderstand why people chose to go to other platforms after PlayStation's discontinuation of physical sales. So, allow me to explain. Selling your PlayStation because they are no longer releasing discs and going to PC that already does not have discs is about the most moronic thing that I've seen people do. No, it's not moronic at all, actually. Yes, PC games are almost entirely digital these days, but you don't go to the PC platform just thinking about how the games are digital, and therefore the same as PlayStation. That would be ridiculous. PC as a platform in its entirety is way different to PlayStation. It's a lot more open, it's a lot more customizable. The multiplayer is free, the game files are accessible, and you can back them up or even modify them to your liking. You can get games that are entirely yours from GOG with no DRM. Even some Steam games are like that too. You can sail the seas for your games. You can play old games using emulators. Do I need to go on? PC as a platform has way more advantages, way more library of games, way better support for peripherals, etc. This is why you should not sell your PlayStation controllers when you move to PC. They will work perfectly fine on Steam out of the box. And the DualSense has gyro, which means you can play any old games that require motion controls with no problem. It is not moronic to switch to PC after PlayStation's blunder. It is, in fact, a very sensible decision. This isn't a question about PC being better. Yes, it is. It absolutely is about PC being better in almost every way compared to PlayStation right now. I don't understand why you think that it's not about that. Even if it isn't about that, why would you not consider that factor when migrating from consoles to PC? I am primarily a PC gamer. If you are, then you wouldn't ask these questions. PC isn't the only platform that people crawl back to after the failure of PlayStation and Xbox for keeping their gamers happy. Nintendo is also the other platform for refugees. I mean, at least Nintendo games still prioritize fun over profits. Even if it's not the best fun, but at least it's still fun. Unfortunately, Nintendo is also hit with the memory crisis of today, which means they're going to raise their Switch 2 prices. It's one of the rare cases where Nintendo is forced to adapt to the harsh realities of the hardware market right now, but some people didn't get the memo and think that they all did that out of greed. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but not this time. It's morally acceptable to pirate from Nintendo. In fact, at this point, it's an obligation. Oof, someone is not a fan. It's one thing to say that it's morally acceptable to pirate Nintendo games, but it's another thing to say that it's an obligation. I don't like Nintendo either, but I couldn't be less obligated to pirate their stuff, let alone buy them. There's zero excuse as to why the price is going up. Oh. Oh, you really don't know what's going on right now, do you? Yeah, this person is genuinely clueless about the memory crisis. But to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo did raise it out of greed. Morality is a subjective assessment, but this one requires a lot more nuance. Piracy is never morally acceptable. Yeah, no. There are many instances where piracy is the only way to get the media that you want. It's not legally acceptable to do so, that is a fact, but morality-wise, it's not that black and white. You know what is morally unacceptable? The current state of digital goods right now, where corporations can take out the games or films that you bought away from you. That is morally unacceptable. That is theft. But that is legal. They can do that with legal technicalities. There is a reason why we fight for it. You are not entitled to the hard work of others just because you disagree with the price tag. So what you actually consider immoral is theft. That is true. But piracy in the context of the digital landscape is not just about stealing from corporations or derive them from their right to earn money from their sale. It's also about preserving the product and archiving them so that future generations can access them without corporate restrictions. Think of piracy like hacking. There are several hats of them. There are the white hats that just want to archive media and let people access and download delisted archive media and DRM-free archived media. There are the gray hats that want to get archive media for free because they're broke and want to get things for free. That's me. I'm broke and I'd rather get media for free. And then there are the bad pirates that break through securities to get the latest copy of the game. They are the GTA 6 leakers. They literally profit off of their hacks. Not that I sympathize with Rockstar, it's their fault that they got breached, but the hackers are definitely coming in with malicious intent. The point is, piracy is not entirely immoral, especially when corporations can just steal from you legally. Nintendo is arguably the most pro-consumer gaming company at the moment. Well, that is certainly a take when Steam is right there. To be fair, between Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, Nintendo is the only one that is doing well. At least Nintendo still have games. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Huge thanks to all the wonderful sponsors this week. You're all fantastic. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, join the YouTube membership, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.